Let's talk about the most beautiful film of the year, and that is going to be Chloe Zhao's new film, Hamnet, which stars Paul Mescal as well as Jessie Buckley. This is one of those movies that I had heard so many great things about when it premiered at TIFF. Sadly, like a lot of things at TIFF, I didn't get the chance to watch it there. TIFF, I love you, but it's just so hard to get those tickets somehow. But nonetheless, I was able to catch this at an early screening. I believe it should open in some theaters this weekend and maybe opens up wider next week. And this is definitely a movie I recommend wholeheartedly, especially if you're somebody who just really wants something that's going to touch your soul in such a beautiful way and will leave you devastated. That's what this movie's going to do. And I don't want to get too much into this film about what it's about. If you read into it, I think it's still going to have the same effect, but if you don't really want to go into knowing what happens in the film, I won't do that to you. Let's just get into what exactly I loved about this film. And it quickly gained into my top 5 of the year so far, and it's there. So check out, this is my list so far. I think I might rework it a bit in this weekend, but this is so far right now. This is like initial raw thoughts on the year so far. So Hamnet is a movie that revolves around Shakespeare and his wife Agnes as they are starting a relationship, and we get a little bit of years into it and also learn about how Shakespeare came to make Hamlet. Now this is based on a novel that sort of is telling this story, and historians have sort of debated if it's true or not, but we're not here to get into that. We're just here to talk about Hamlet in the film. So first off, let's give it up for Chloe Zhao, who I think is just a tremendous filmmaker. I think Chloe Zhao does an incredible job at making her characters feel human and so vulnerable, and just like you are right there with them. There is a way that she positions the camera that you feel you are seeing it through the characters' eyes, their happiness, their agony, the sadness, all of that. It is presented in such a way that you really feel it deep down. It's not that Chloe is trying to make you feel something or pushing you into a certain emotion at times. It's that she's letting you sort of take in what this character's feeling and everything that they are going through. And over time, what's so beautiful about this film is that it builds and it builds inside of you, and maybe you don't feel it at first, but as these crucial moments in the film happen and these beats hit, these emotions that you've built for these characters starts to sort of like make their way up, and eventually leading you to just truly break with them at the same time. And that is, I think, something that's beautifully done with the camera work here. Cinematography as well is the same cinematographer that was behind The Zone of Interest, and you really see it. This is such a beautifully shot film that it is just gorgeous to look at. It gave me some Terrence Malick vibes, which Chloe Zhao has always done that for me, but here I truly feel she is tapping in that in the most interesting way. I am a truther for the film The Eternals, which Chloe Zhao did for Marvel, and I think that she really continues to showcase the humanity she's able to bring forth in a movie that has multiple characters, because each character here is flawed. There is not a person here who is inherently bad or evil or that. They all have their flaws, and she's not afraid to showcase that. There is no need to make somebody be the hero or the villain or not. This is just a movie about this family and what they're going through and how they try to deal with it. And Zhao does that in an incredible manner. Now, the star of the show for me definitely is Jessie Buckley, as she plays Agnes, a character that was so interesting to see develop, I think. And Jessie Buckley is somebody who I'm new to. I'm not really familiar with anything else she's done, I think. And I am now on board with seeing The Bride next year, directed by Maggie O'Farrell, because Buckley is an incredible actress. I think that Buckley will get the awards when it comes to leading actress next year. There is no doubt about that in my mind, because I think she gives the best performance of the year, hands down. This is the definitive best actor of the year, in my opinion, because Buckley's able to tap into things I don't really see actors do much today, and that's play this very nuanced role of somebody who is trying to sort of appease everybody and putting herself second always, and then really showcasing these emotional and vulnerable stages that we don't really see be portrayed in the way she does it, so raw and so intense. And it's just incredible to see. I just can't put words to it. Now, Paul Mescal acts opposite of her, and I am praising Buckley a lot, and that's just because she is tremendous in this. That doesn't mean Paul is bad in it. I think this is his best performance to date, maybe after Sun, and I really do think he is stronger in these type of roles than, say, Gladiator 2, where I really wasn't a fan of his performance there. But I think when it comes to these more intimate portrayals of these characters and really getting to the core of a character, he really does that well. And this is a performance for him here. Like, it is just done exceptionally. The final act of this movie, he takes it to another step, and I was very worried that it was just going to become a thing where Buckley kind of overshadows him for the whole thing, but he really comes into this character in that final act that is just so moving and so beautiful to see, and I honestly was just in tears. And let's get into it. The final act of this movie is really where this movie goes in a direction I did not even know it was going to go in, and I found myself just so shocked at how beautifully choreographed it is, from everybody, to the actors, to the director, to the cinematographer, to the sound, to the score that is provided here. It is just on another level of filmmaking what they're able to accomplish with this. It's just the positions. There has to be the right positions for everything to truly hit, and they all hit the notes, and it takes you to that level of where you're already crying throughout the film, but I think this is when you just immediately feel like sobbing. There's just something so intense that happens in that final scene that I just can't describe it to you. I'm usually somebody who cries at every movie I see a lot of times. Like, I'll get a tear, a drop here and there, but this movie, it had me just sobbing. It was a movie where I think I was watching it alone, I would just sob completely by the end. And that's just me. I don't know if everybody's going to have that same reaction or not, but I truly felt it, especially when you think about the messaging, everything about this movie. It really hits very hard. And I will talk more about that in the spoiler video this weekend, so stay tuned when I talk about the ending and just why I think it's the most impactful ending of the year in terms of art, in terms of the human emotion. So stay tuned for that video. But overall, I cannot recommend Hamnet enough. I will tell you, it is definitely more a study of this family. So if you're not really looking for that, something that's really gonna like be a sort of slow burn. I hate to use that type of word for this movie because I think a slow burn's more like when action and things like that, because this movie is more of a feely movie. Like, you're gonna have to feel it and stuff like that. And there's not much, I would say, in terms of plot here, but that's okay. I don't think movies should have a plot, in my opinion. I think they should just make you feel an emotion, and Hamnet's definitely going to make you feel the emotions here. So I just like to get that out of the way. If you're not really somebody who's there ready to sit for 2+ hours in a movie that's going to just have you feeling, then maybe it's not for you, and that's totally fine. I don't want you to go and spend your money and then be mad about it. But if you're somebody who enjoys to see a film that tries to really tap into these characters' emotions and what they're going through and what exactly is that moment and how do these characters overcome it together, this one's for you. Definitely more of a film that's dramatic and really has a lot of intense emotions behind it than a movie that has more of a thrilling and, I would say, plot-driven story, if that makes sense. But yeah, just want to make that clear. I make sure that everybody knows what they're getting into. I don't want people to go out there and spend their hard-earned money on something they probably don't like. We all have our preferences, and if Hamnet's not that for you, then that's totally fine. But for me, it is a top 5, top 10 for sure, and I cannot wait to rewatch it. I think I'm going to have to watch it alone, though. I don't want to cry in the theater again. But stay tuned for more thoughts and opinions on it and more of my spoiler talk about it. That will be over the weekend. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I didn't even tell you the plot of the film because I think it's something you just want to go into and just experience it for the first time. And honestly, Chloe Zhao could get that Best Director as well, I think. And I think that's where definitely this movie really wins beyond all of the other movies I watched this year, is that it truly wants you to feel something. Besides Die My Love, where I think that is where Ramsey does an amazing job as well, I think this is where Zhao does an amazing job in the film Hamnet. She really is asking you to feel this and to be in this moment, and that is what really makes that last act, the final scene of the movie, be so transcendent. There's just something that I really appreciate when a film is just asking of you to be in that moment and to just feel without feeding you a story, lines, or what have you. It is just there telling you, here's what's going on and here's how the characters are dealing with it. How do you feel about that? And I think that's what really makes filmmaking beautiful, is that a director, a writer can make you feel all of these emotions and make you be in this character's shoes and truly be there in that moment with them. And also you pull from your own personal experiences as well of what you've gone through in your life and all that. And if a movie is able to touch you in that way, it truly is a movie that will stay, because stories can be done and done and done again, right? Twists and turns and all of that. Perfectly fine. I enjoy a good mystery that ultimately leaves me gasping at the end of the twist. But it is that movie that made me feel in that moment something that maybe I had inside of me and has truly felt cathartic as well, that is going to stick with me a lot longer. I think that's what Hamnet does so well, and it is going to be one of the movies I think I'll never forget for sure. Very excited to talk more about this. I will have my Oscar predictions, things like that video coming out after I watch Sentimental Valley. That's like the last movie I need to watch, and The Testament of Anne Lee. Otherwise, I think I've watched everything else that's probably going to get nominated, so stay tuned for that. But as always, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. On the road to 50,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.